Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. Thanks for turning up. What have we turned up for? Well, I don't know what you've turned up for. I've turned up just to tell you that there's nothing else. That's all I've turned up for. I mean, ridiculous, isn't it? So the whole message, the whole communication, the suggestion is simply there is nothing other than what appears to be. And so I refer to what appears to be as this, because this appears to be. And of course, when listening to a human being saying something so ordinary, so radically ordinary, so radically unradical, as Darren pointed out to me, can't be heard by self, because self goes, well, what's in just this for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me in this message? What do I get out of it? Well, if you're lucky, annihilation of the illusion that you could get something out of this, that there's anything in this for you. And then you won't be free. This isn't about liberation for you. It isn't even liberation from you, but it is liberation from the sense that you could get what you want. You could become what you wish to be. And that's definitely not what you want. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking to become at one with everything, to be in a state of bliss or peace, to be without suffering. The end of suffering is not on offer. There's nothing on offer. And that's just the end of seeking the end of suffering. The liberation is from seeking liberation. There's no more than this. There's no less than this. So the words whole and complete, although they might be misleading, they still feel appropriate. The wholeness is there isn't anything else. The completeness is that this is the end. This is always the end and the beginning. You are the illusion of in between. That's where existence exists, in this illusory space in between this and that. Well, there isn't any space in between. You can never find the space in between where you live, where things exist. And then miraculously, you can still play the game, tell the stories of existence, relationships, birth, life, death. If you want rebirth, if you want karma, you can tell any stories that you want, or any stories that just appear. But there's an immeasurable difference between stories and the truth of my life. The truth of my existence. The point of my life, the meaning of my life. Meaninglessness is utterly dreadful for me. And if it becomes undoubted that life is absolutely meaningless, regardless of all the relative meaning that might appear, then self can feel totally adrift, falling, disappearing, horrified at what's the point? My life is the point. I am is the point. That's all. And it's an illusory point. This doesn't have a point. And this doesn't matter whether it seems to matter or not. I'm not talking about there mattering not appearing. You know, I'd be completely lying if I said my kids don't matter. Of course they do, relatively. But there's no doubt that absolutely not. No more than a leaf falling from a tree, or the ant that I just trod on, or the fly that I just swatted. Of course, relative mattering still appears. In fact, it's probably more intense than ever. I think it's inevitable for human beings. It seems the most natural thing. It just doesn't seem to matter whether there is mattering or not. And so this message gets labeled as cold, as nihilistic, as inhuman, as without any heart. And probably the greatest paradox of all, it feels entirely the opposite. The unconditional love is that there is, even though absolutely nothing matters, there is caring, there is empathy, there is compassion, there is love. And it seems so miraculous. And it's nothing to do with me. Love was never your love. My love for you was never my love for you. I'm not suggesting you tell your lover that. She probably won't get it. You never know. It's the same paradox as without, you may imagine that there could be a place of liberation where nothing would be taken personally. You know, without me, I'm the one who takes things personally. No, what we call even personal isn't yours. Again, it's just claimed by me. What annoys the human being you've called yourself annoys the human being you've called yourself. What is most loved and longed for, you claim that. You claim everything. Self claims it all for itself when it's all just naturally occurring. I don't know what I'm talking about. No one knows more about this than anyone else. Maybe that's the most unconditional love. Nobody has more life, and there's only this seeming life. No one knows more about it. There's nothing to be known.
Leanne has her hand up.
Hi, Leanne.
Hi, Tim.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm wondering, when you say this, how long does this last? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I know you can't put a temporal quantity on it, but I'm asking anyway.
You can say what you want, Leanne.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I am. You say. I mean, of course, in non-duality, the accurate or the correct answer is, of course, no time. So this is a pathetic attempt to label that there is no time.
right.
So it doesn't last any time. But
Right.
then, of course, you could say then relatively, how long does this seem to last? Well, it might seem to last a lifetime.
Mm.
It might seem to last. Well, I tell you what might seem to appear. A lot of people speak to me about this. When there's this sense of meing and being, people tell me how long the being lasted and then how long the meing lasted before the being returned. And I mean, I try not to laugh because it's not funny. And yeah, of course it is hilarious because how the fact that a human being could say there's clearly these two states of this. There's a state of this where I'm not, and there's a state of this where I am.
Well, I should qualify me to say, when you say there's just this appears.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And disappears. I mean, here's the thing. So it doesn't last any time because the disappearance of this is the appearance of this.
Uh-huh.
The appearance of this is the disappearance of this. It isn't lasting any time. And then we, as human beings, we just measure the time. We just love measure. I mean, human beings, we're just
I know.
measuring. We just measure. We just love to know. And so once we've measured something, then we know it.
Yeah.
We know how far, how long, I mean, time and space, size, distance, it's also the illusion. And we're so convinced by that illusion of knowing that most human beings never doubt it, actually. Then for some human beings, there's always been a sense of, well, I'm not really sure. That doesn't really cut it. It doesn't feel satisfactory. For a lot of human beings, it is satisfactory, the whole notion of time and space. And of course, relatively, you could still say it's true.
Yeah.
So relativity is time and space, and absolutely, we don't know. So you could say it's empty, it's nothing, it's not knowing.
Well, I'm intrigued by when you say there's just this, and then I'm trying to figure out there's nothing else.
No,
That's the intriguing part.
I mean, it is intriguing, and I mean, it isn't mystical. I don't mean this in a mystical way, Liana. It's more like, well, isn't it obvious that there's just this?
Well, no, because it's not obvious to me, because I'm carrying memories of the past in my head right now.
Well, only if they appear, and that's what I'm including. I'm not discounting that.
But to me, they're a part of this. Some of them.
Well, this doesn't have any. That's the other thing. This doesn't have any parts. There aren't parts.
I mean, the content is a part of this.
Yeah. So
right?
there is, well, I would say there is only the seeming content of this. That's what I'm referring to. And there isn't something else. So if you're looking for what's not the content, because that would be really this, not just the content. Because that's all the spiritual game. The spiritual game is, well, I'm well aware of the content of this, and most spirituality would say the content of awareness or the content of consciousness, the form. But I'm not satisfied with the content. No, fuck off. I want the real deal, which is the absolute. What is it that the content is appearing in? What is the essence of the content? What is what is the source of the content? That's what fuels all the seeking. Well,
Yeah, no, that wasn't what I was referring to.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
No. So
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I'm just trying to be clear. Sometimes it's hard to communicate,
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll leave it for now.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Leanne. There isn't an answer. That's all I wanted to say about, so all of the questions of source, of essence,
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm concerned.
of the formless,
Yeah.
of no thing, they're all pissing in the wind.
Well, this just came to me. I tried to get this idea from someone who closed all the blinds in the room and said, there's nothing but this. There's nothing outside exists.
Mm-hmm.
So is that similar to what you're saying?
Well, yes, but without the blinds.
Right.
There's no need for the blinds.
No.
Because the thing about this is it doesn't have, there's no edge to this. There's no boundary. There's no limit.
Right. Right. So if I have a recurring thoughts that are like almost obsession or then they're part of this.
Yeah.
When they arise.
Yeah.
And with fear coming up. So
well,
that's just,
I would say they're not part of this.
They're not.
No, they're not part of this. They are this. When there's fear is all there is.
Well, but plus all this other stuff that I'm seeing and feeling and all that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the fear is when there's a feeling of fear, or when there's a feeling of anger, or when there's a feeling of love. That's the whole universe. That's the entirety. That's everything. That's all there is. What is appearing? There's just simply this, and then of course then a story or a thought can come about everything else that it is apart from that, and then that's what's appearing. There's simply no escape. So when I say there's no outside, self is obsessed with outside because that's where I could escape to. That's where I could. That's where I could find peace outside. So I spent most of my life seeking peace externally, or wholeness externally in relationships, in work, in success, in achievement. And then I heard some spiritual talk about, no, you won't find it outside, it's inside. So then I did attempted to go inside very, very badly, I have to say. I was rubbish at that.
It's hard.
And then for no reason at all, it's very obvious that there isn't an inside and an outside. There really isn't. There is just this whole and complete appearance. Nothing else.
Right. I guess I'm still trying to understand appearance, like break it down to.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is that's totally innocent, but it's so pointless because the whole thing about appearance is it's whole and
Yeah.
complete already, and then what you try and do is break it into parts so you understand it.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, there's not a problem with that. But that's the game that self plays. That I must be able to understand it, and in order to understand it, what do? It's what science does. You know, you to find out what an animal is and how it works, we kill it and dissect it.
Mhm.
And when you dissect this, in effect, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Because the dissection into parts is suggesting, or is saying that no, this isn't whole, it's in parts.
Well, it's something to do, isn't it?
It'll keep self amused. Oh yeah, it's endlessly entertaining.
Yes.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Oh, I was talking to Darren before the meeting, and he said to me, because we said about how ordinary this is, and it is extraordinarily ordinary. And he said, yeah, I remember when going to meetings was so exciting, and it was, there was just the excitement of what will be revealed this time, this next meeting, then there'll be another revelation, and the excitement of it. And he goes, yeah, I sort of miss it. And I go, yeah, you sort of miss it. And then I thought, yeah, you miss it like a boil on the arse. Because it's a pain, but it is entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is, I mean, I can't pick up a book and be entertained. Well, the interesting, now I can read novels. I don't, because I'm a bit too lazy. I'd rather watch a film because it's less effort. But that's true. But I do love a good story. But I mean, I can't pick up a non-duality book, even my own, which is wonderful, but I still can't even pick that up because there's no entertainment in it anymore.
We have lovely pictures in your book.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's kind of you. Yeah, they're my pictures. I still love taking pictures. That entertains me a bit.
Oh. Well, you're good at it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Who's next? David or Will?
Will has, yeah.
Okay, Will.
Yeah.
Will's a cat. Oh no, he's not.
Oh, I got it.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for this, as usual, incredible, generous offering. And you said that everybody knows the same, or no one knows more than anyone else, but I don't think that's quite true. I think that, anyone imbued in love has better insight. I think it's a kind of matter of insight, in my view.
I mean, you could call it something other than knowing, but I say knows more because I don't know. This doesn't feel like a knowing at all. That's why I say that. It doesn't feel like knowledge. It doesn't feel like understanding. It feels like the contrary. It feels like not knowing, and it feels like the complete. I mean, it just doesn't matter whether there's understanding or not. It's like now that I couldn't give a shit about understanding, whereas I was obsessed with understanding.
Yeah.
I was completely obsessive about it. And would reward myself if I made links between different speakers or different spheres of non-duality. I would get, my ego would just be ecstatic with this progress in understanding.
Yeah.
And then what seemed to happen, of course it didn't happen, but what seemed to happen was it was all shown to be utterly empty and worthless. And that felt so devastating.
Yeah.
There was a real point of devastation where I studied and studied.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. I was totally obsessed with learning. Okay, what is the truth? And all the non-dual speakers who I resonated with, I just listened to them obsessively, and then I would just try and link all what they said together to make this. What I was looking for was this complete understanding.
Yeah.
Because that would be the completeness. That was the illusion. I was suffering under the illusion that this completeness and wholeness was a whole understanding, was a clarity of such magnitude that there could be no more clarity. And then, I mean, there is no bigger joke. What I'm speaking of is the exact opposite of that. It's the annihilation of any value in understanding, any value in knowledge.
Yeah.
Which feels like unconditional love.
I think the reason people want knowledge is because the need to control, namely it comes from fear. But I think love opens the door to vision, but it also protects you against fear, because if you're not only are you willing to see, but you're also not frightened, which means that you're actually even more able to see. I think it's this roundabout double, triple. I mean, indeed, that's, if I might say that, I mean, the basis of Christianity is the two: love God, love your neighbor. And I think that that's how Christianity links. Christ was a mystic of the highest order, because he could see things, and he was able to change rules according to his own insight and there's nothing you can do about it, because he could see and you couldn't, basically.
Yeah.
I think also I think the reason you can get away with your manner of speech and no one is offended is because no one really, everybody is no doubt about the purity of your consciousness. Actually, I realize that you can almost say what you like. Quite amazing.
Well, it's lovely for you to say that, but number one, there's plenty of people who do get upset by what I say. I just don't advertise that extensively. And the other thing is, of course, this is annihilation of purity. There is no impurity. Of course, if there's no impurity, there's no purity. Everything is innocent. The innocence of everything is undoubtable. And I guess purity generally means innocence. That's the sense I have. And there are no guilty ones. And again, that feels like unconditional love.
People sometimes use strong language either to, as a sort of expression of their own defilement, or to somehow hurt or damage, which is also their defilement. And that's really what's so offensive. It's not even the words they use, it's just that there's an underlying thing going on. And it's really, that's
and I would totally agree with you that generally almost always comes from fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks.
David has his hand up.
Hi, David.
Hi, Tim. I'm totally enjoying this time. There were times when it seemed to be exciting to hear others, and it still is, but it's always in the moment. This absolutely cannot be learned from reading books or watching YouTubes. It cannot. It happens, but that doing it when that is exciting, the awakening may begin, but it doesn't come from those words. I know that, like, a few years ago, someone in, I think it was Jackson Peterson, said something and told me I had posted something about the gap, and he said there is no gap. And yet, and I intellectually understood that, but what we experience today is just like totally joyful that the gap doesn't exist. There's no resting place in the here and now where I can sort of settle back and say, oh, I'm here now. No, it's impossible. It's totally impossible. But to know that, it has to be in the moment, because because there's no gap, there's no place to sit down and read a book,
Yeah.
and then go off and say, oh, I know it now. It just doesn't happen that way. I'm so delighted just to not be expecting to learn something new, because it's like, how could something new be learned? You have to experience it right now, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's no gap in the now. So
No,
I know this doesn't make sense to anybody, and that's okay too.
yeah, oh no, it's more than okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank-
David.
Thanks
That's
for
lovely.
Leanne has her hand up.
Hi, Leanne, do you want to say something else?
You're muted, Leanne, if you're talking.
Sorry,
Oh.
sorry about that. Can you say more about how everything is innocent and everyone?
Yeah. So guilt, blame, responsibility, fault only refer to self, only refer to me, only refer to the one who could have done otherwise. So we don't blame the trees for dropping their leaves. Trees innocently drop their leaves. We blame human beings because from my perspective, I'm responsible for my actions, so therefore you're responsible for yours. You could have done differently. You chose, you have free will, you have choice. And from that, all guilt or innocence come. But if it's seen that human beings are just as innocently doing what they seem to be doing, innocently thinking what they seem to be thinking, innocently feeling what they seem to be feeling, then that's what I mean by innocence of everything. So everything, because really we only say human beings are guilty. To a degree, we blame a dog, but then when we don't really blame a dog if it bites someone, generally we blame the owner, for they've mistreated the dog. It's the owner's fault. But one thing self always insists is fucking somebody's fault.
Yeah.
Now that's the key. That's the key. That's virtually all human conflict comes from this sense of volition that comes from the sense of I choose what I do, what I say, and to a degree, a lot of human beings actually think they choose what they feel. Now that astounds me, and it always did astound me. I kind of got that people could kid themselves that they're choosing what they think and they can manage what they think. And I could kind of see how, okay, if I choose what I think, then I can control my behavior and my actions. I could go along with that delusion to a degree, but it was so obvious always, even as a child, that feelings come totally unbidden. Just, it's like saying it's the same as saying I could affect the weather. It's as ridiculous. I don't wish it to be stormy today, and I don't wish to be angry. And so I can stop being angry and I can stop the storm.
Mhm.
It's it's the futility of all of that.
Mhm.
And so the innocence and the futility of attempting to control and manage life is the peace that passes all understanding. That's the peace. The peace is, no, I was never in control. There was never
Yeah.
I to be in control.
Right.
I was I am the illusion of control. I am the illusion of being the manager of life.
Right.
That's innocence. There is no manager.
Right. Lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Will has his hand up.
Sorry, coming back on the same issue, really.
That's all right, Will.
Just a bit reminiscent of Nisargadatta, who was a sage who lived in Bombay
Oh,
at that. And
well,
he
he's my favourite, Will, just because he was a chain smoker.
yeah, he
So
was a
I console myself with the dreadful nicotine habit that I still have, in that one of the greatest Indian sages smoked almost continuously.
I think love actually allows you to get away with. I don't know. It's
It allows you to get away with murder, probably. Well, yeah.
Well, I think you can actually. There's a lot on it. But Nisargadatta used to. I don't think he used to swear, but he certainly used to shout, and he used to act in seemingly aggressive ways. But I don't think
Yeah.
no one doubted his purity or really even complained about it. Frankly, it was just.
Well, I just think it was very obvious that he wasn't pure. That was what was wonderful. You know, because he didn't act saintly. That's why I seem to have more empathy, more. I identify more with Nisargadatta and U.G. Krishnamurti than any other Indian non-duality speakers, just for the simple fact of they clearly weren't saintly in any way. And for me, that's the purity. The purity is that there isn't any way to be pure. There is only purity, and that appears as all impurity. That's the unconditional nature of this.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, you just can't get it right. The liberation isn't from, I had a dreadful fear of failure, like most selves do. Come to exams, come to being assessed as a teacher. I couldn't sleep. It was a matter of life and death. With this dreadful fear of failure. And the liberation from that is wonderful, but even more wonderful is liberation from the possibility of success. I just it just feels the most loving and compassionate thing to say to every human being that you do know that you can't be successful, don't you? There are no successful and unsuccessful human beings. The only success is being human. Well, that's all there is for human beings. So this is as successful as it gets. I mean, that's incredibly disappointing for me, but it's hugely liberating for the human being. Oh, thank fuck for that. I haven't got to try anymore. There's nowhere to get to. There's no possibility of failure. Being is the only success, and this is being. That's it. That's it. It's just not your being. It's all being. It all is. Catherine.
Hello, hello. Good to see you. Yeah, it's funny with this the fear of failure
Hmm.
is that I couldn't even go to the beginning and learn something because the pressure as well, you have to be perfect. And there seems to be an openness now of learning completely from scratch,
Yeah,
because it's the learning, just the joy of one little thing. You
yeah,
know, there's not this heaviness of having to achieve
yeah.
a certain level, and that, yeah. So even health-wise, I booked myself for personal training, like
Brilliant.
really going to zero, not trying to do everything by myself anymore. It's like, I'll give it a go, you know, and you still have fears, but
Oh,
it's an
that's great.
openness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Uh,
lovely.
a bit of drawing, it doesn't matter. It
Oh,
doesn't
that's
matter.
lovely.
It's
Yeah,
even just giving it a go, you know.
yeah.
And yeah, it got. It's just lovely. Not none of the adult stuff, in a way, you know. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I just think of me as when I was teaching. I was, you know, because I was a PE teacher, and it was always my stock phrase was for those who had fear of failure, which was a lot of kids when they're faced with a new, some especially physical activities. There's often more fear than in classroom, and a lot of the academic kids, they had a real fear of looking silly, looking a fool, humiliation, that self-consciousness. And my phrase was, yeah, just give it a go. Just give it a go. So it is kind of, what are we here for? Just give it a go or not. It doesn't matter.
Yes, yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have,
Well,
no, you don't have
that's
to give it a go. It
that's
doesn't
the
matter.
other that's the other side of the coin,
Yeah.
because there's almost no drive.
No.
You know, I can just happily sit and do nothing. You
Yeah.
know, it's so strange. It's yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, Catherine.
Yes, it's almost like laziness, and at the same time,
Mm.
the laziness leaves the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you were brought up Christian, but I was brought up
Yeah.
Christian, and two of the greatest sins, one was sloth, um, laziness, you know, because I was brought up with the Protestant work ethic. Work ethic was
Right.
was very simple. You always had to try your best, and you always had to give your all, and work was what made you good. And laziness was the devil, because the devil made work for idle hands. My grandmother must have said that 100 times or more to me. I'll give you something to do because the devil will make work for idle hands.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the basic sin of not being productive. And being unproductive is really blissful without that
Yeah, I can't. I don't.
righteousness.
I don't think it's Christian in a way. It's just each family, because I didn't have that. On the
Right.
other hand, crying was the work of the devil,
Oh, crime
and you
was bad.
should be
Yeah.
ashamed, you know. So
Right. Yeah.
and
Well,
don't go and see psychologists, because they're also so, you know, you more or less, the door is shut,
yeah.
and here and the childhood was admiration of, you know, the super virtuoso musicians or great artists. There was no
No.
and then it's like, you've got to be up there, but
Yeah.
then we put you down, you know, a bit more.
Yeah.
And control and complete freedom. I had, it's so funny. It's such a
It is. It's funny but tragic.
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if some memory might come up, yeah, I guess that would be
No, I just mean for children, because that's how most children are still.
oh yeah, yeah.
Most children are still conditioned to think success you know, success is essential in order
No,
to be a good, in order to be a good and worthwhile human being. Success is the way to do it.
I was way too lazy to achieve anything. So I
well,
was successful at being a failure.
there's a lot to be said for lazy parenting, Catherine, because you can't be bothered to indoctrinate your children with all that
Oh
righteousness.
yeah, no. Well, there was some guilt in a way that I didn't bring my children up to be success minded. They're just children, and we just did coloring and going to the park. You know, I didn't have anything in me to say you have to achieve.
Well, you think you know, as a self, you think you know what guilt is until you're a parent, and then, oh no, there's still. You can feel more inadequate as a parent than you ever did beforehand. I know that feeling well, and most parents tell me the same.
Oh no, don't need that.
No,
All that's gone. There's no need for any of that rubbish.
Oh no, it's all rubbish.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Somebody else might want.
Catherine.
I'm gonna take the hand.
Hi, Tim. Thanks a lot. I seem to have taken over the floor. Sorry about that. So
That's all right. Well, what would you like to say?
I just think that there seems to be two levels of illusion. I mean, illusion is like existence is something everybody can see. Even in an unenlightened state, you can see arising and ceasing. The coming into the origination and dissolution is visible to all in the present moment. There seems to be I'm not quite sure really whether it's difficult for me to even phrase this, but behind that illusion, there seems to be another kind of illusoriness, or I don't know if this is right, really.
What do you think the other illusion is?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, very good question, actually. Yeah, I just assume because everyone talks about emptiness as an ultimate reality somehow, and now you're raising the question: where is that reality exactly?
No. I know when I refer to emptiness, I'm using that as there isn't emptiness. That's what I'm referring emptiness to. I'm referring emptiness to what can't be known. So when I use the word emptiness, it's not that there is a finding of the source of everything, which is emptiness, and that's been found, or that's been seen, or that's been experienced, or that's been recognized. All of that is illusory. There isn't. Emptiness means there's nothing to find. That's what when I use that term, I'm referring to what can't be known. And the reason it can't be known is because
there's an emptiness that can be known, namely the body is always in the present moment and is illusory because it doesn't sustain its existence for even a fraction of a second. And then behind that, there's an emptiness that can't be known. I think that's what you're saying.
I wouldn't separate the emptiness into one that could be known and couldn't be known. When I refer to emptiness, I'm referring to not knowing.
No. Okay,
so really what I'm referring to is what Buddhists refer to as formless. And the formless is only known through the form. So the form is formless. So the fullness is empty.
Yes, I get that.
And that's not known. Somehow, I have no idea. It's just not doubted. So there is only the appearance, and really there is not even the appearance, but that is all there is. So there is really no form, but the form is all that appears. The formless does not appear.
Yes. Well, we
That's
assume there's a sort of womb of God, or the womb of existence.
absolutely. So what seems to have happened is that this has annihilated all notions of source or essence. So even if any desire to know God, this has annihilated as unknowable. And I mean, there are so many speakers who talk of knowing God and knowing absence and knowing emptiness, and I have no idea what they're speaking of.
Yeah, but
I
you're
don't.
not denying, nor are you asserting it. You're simply
No, somehow, which this is the unconditional love. Somehow, it's not doubted that this does not exist as we imagine it does. So that we imagine everything. So, and absolutely, there are no things. We imagine all relationships. Absolutely, there are no relationships because there are no things in relation to each other. And yet, that is how this appears. But it's not doubted that it's just appearance. Now, how I can't say that's known, and yet it's not doubted. So I tend to come up with the phrase of doubtless uncertainty. That came one day, that phrase appeared, and it just stuck. And somehow there's no doubting that nothing is certain. This is all there is, and it's doubtless, but there's no knowing of it. There's no certainty. There's no understanding. And that's the freedom. The freedom is no longer trying to understand.
yeah. That's a good point, really. I must understand. That would be your idea.
Absolutely. It's only me that needs to understand. This requires no understanding to be exactly as it is.
Well, you either understand or you don't, but that's
And
all.
and of course, and the doubtlessness is, well, there can be understanding, but the understanding is empty too, because everything is. So the understanding is ultimately empty of meaning, empty of purpose, empty of value.
Yeah. And it's also not frightening. That's the main thing. The fact that I don't understand.
No, and there's nothing to fear at all in not understanding.
Yes.
But self always says the contrary to that. It says understanding will keep me safe.
I did a search recently. I compared Ramana. And Nisargadatta were, I think, living roughly at the same time and utterly different types of people. But I did this word search for the word LOVE, love, as a matter of curiosity, because I find in Advaita Vedanta teachings, I read a Facebook article and the word LOVE occurred not once in the whole article. I was quite shaken, quite surprised actually. Usually and Ramana uses it to a certain extent, but Nisargadatta is really full. His teachings are full of love. It's quite interesting.
Yes,
Anyway,
yeah.
it's I usually like to have any insight without love. I'm speculating, and sorry about that, but I don't know how you could have insight into non-duality if you're not conscious of love, or if that's not part of your existence in some shape or form. Indian philosophy usually divides the yoga into four: the bhakti, jnana, karma, kamma, and raja. But it seems to me they're all, you practice. The practice is got to be all. I mean, it's all four. You don't divide into four groups. So this one has got love and this one hasn't. That seems to me very unlikely.
Yeah, I know very little about Advaita Vedanta. The love can just So here's the thing, absolutely there is no love. And relatively, it's all love. Everything. That won't make sense. It's no
Was-
good trying. It's no good trying to understand. It's no good. It's not. It's not for. It's not for the mind. It's
Yeah.
not to be worked out. There's no working out that there is no. So what doesn't exist is all there is. That's what I'm saying. That's this whole message is. Nothing exists, and what exists is all there is. And
There's
you know, and then the mind can just, well, you can grapple with that until your last breath. And then if you're really lucky, you just the search just stops and you go, well, okay. No more questions now.
Yes.
Enough is enough.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for your questions today
Thanks a lot, Tim.
and your commentary. That was good. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks everyone who spoke. Thanks, David. Lovely to see everybody. What shall I say?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Tim.
you. If you would like to donate, you can do so at my webpage, timclissthis.com. If you would like to have a one-to-one, you can book that there. The website's called This Deafening Silence or timclissthis.com.
Can we donate through PayPal?
You donate, just go to my webpage and the PayPal is there.
Oh,
It just,
okay,
it just,
okay.
there's a donate button.
Great, thank you.
So thanks everybody for coming. Lovely. Cheers, Darren.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Tim. Bye.
It's gone so quick.
It has gone quick. Yeah, that was quick today. I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you so much, Tim and Darren.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Catherine.
Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Darren.
Thanks, David.
I always say, Tim, time flies when there isn't any.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. It can still drag when you're bored to tears.